You guys know how I feel about Weiss. She's my favorite character. I like her personality and I think she's the best written of the main four. The character worked out better than others because the path for Weiss was clear from the very beginning. The writers had a plan here. They knew they wanted to go from this—
Watch where you're going, you complete dolt! What? How dare! The nerve of—
to this.
I would do anything for you three. You, Ruby, and even Blake. Or more like family to me than my brother or even my own father.
That made for a clear and obvious arc. So now that the plan has been executed, what's next for the Ice Queen? Let's find out. Weiss is heading home, again, and she's not thrilled about it.
Well, I'm glad you're all excited, but I don't think you appreciate the trouble I went through to leave Atlas.
I mean, the girl had the worst time leaving and now she's already heading back. I can imagine that would be frustrating, but she's returning for a good reason. Our heroes are trying to get the relic to Atlas.
Come on! You didn't even hear us out!
We have Weiss Schnee with us, and we're trying to get her home safely.
If Miss Schnee wishes to return to her family, then of course, the Atlas military will escort her home.
Weiss could have been selfless and traveled with Crow and Maria to hand over the relic, but she doesn't even suggest it. Weiss would rather John come up with a risky plan than just carry the relic there her damn self. Why didn't she say anything? Why? Is it because she doesn't want to be alone?
I told you we wouldn't leave your side for a second. We'll find a way to Atlas. Together.
I know you're worried, Weiss, but trust us. Team RWBY won't leave your side for a second.
I get that she wants to be with her friends, but this mission is crucial to the war against Salem. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Weiss may have abandonment issues.
You're right, though. I don't know loneliness like you do. I have my own version.
Just don't tell the writers, they think that's Yang's shtick. All joking aside, that's not even a valid explanation for Weiss's behavior here. Why? Well, let's play a quick game. I'm going to ask a question and you have 5 seconds to answer. Are you ready? Why did Weiss run away to Mistral? If you answered to get away from her father, you are wrong. If you answered to join up with Team RWBY, you are wrong. Weiss went to Mistral to find her big sister Winter.
Are you sure Mistral is safe?
No, but it's where I'll find Winter.
Guess where Winter is, guys? In Atlas.
Your sister isn't in Mistral anymore. General Ironwood closed the borders and recalled all of his little troops in tin cans.
So Weiss wouldn't be alone no matter what. The person who cares about her the most is there waiting for her. So, I'll ask again. Why didn't she offer to take the relic to Ironwood? Right now, I'm sure some fans are saying, hey Vex, Weiss is afraid that if she goes home, she'll have to return to her father. Honestly, I can't blame you all for feeling that way. That was the implication early in Volume 7.
There's no way the security team will let us anywhere near Ironwood. They might even take me back to my father.
They might take you to your father. Oh, I see. Weiss is a minor.
You're not to leave the manor grounds unless I specifically allow it. You are going to remain here.
What?
You are my daughter. You're a child. And children are grounded when they misbehave.
She hasn't yet reached the age of majority, so if caught, she'll be forced to return home. That's why she said that. Okay. Oh no, she got arrested.
Where do you think they're taking us?
I'm gonna go with jail.
They're gonna take her back to... Oh, they didn't. Oh, but what about Ironwood? He's a man of law. He'll definitely send her back to... Oh, he doesn't either. Holy crap, Papa Schnee is on the scene. Surely Weiss will hide because she doesn't want him to see...
It was my decision to come here. Just like it was my decision to leave.
Oh, she does the exact opposite. Damn, Weiss screwed up. Now her father will demand that she return home. The girl was grounded, so...
these are the little friends you threw everything away for.
You guys get the picture, right? This line,
They might even take me back to my father.
Was BS. There is no downside to Weiss returning home, so Weiss had no real reason to be apprehensive.
I don't...
These emotional beats are weak. Guys, all they had to do is write it so that her new huntsman license granted her freedom from having to return home. It writes itself. So yeah, because of the way this was handled, I had no choice but to believe a protector of the world would rather be with her friends than make sure the relic is safe, which could be an interesting development, but I doubt that's what the writers were going for. For me, the writers dropped the ball here. Don't you worry, folks. The ball that they pick up was so bad, it'll make you forget all about this. In Volume 6, our heroes travel through Brunswick Farms, and the writers decided that someone had to be annoying. Guess who they chose?
Let's look for some...
Weiss!
Weiss sees a dead body in the bed, and she screams louder than Kevin putting on the aftershave. Then she starts hyperventilating. Weiss, you are a huntress, a trained warrior. You fought at the fall of Beacon. People were dying left and right. Why are you the only one freaking out about dead bodies in the bed? I could understand if you were in bed and woke up to a dead body, but the winch is at the door. Get a hold of yourself. Oh, but it gets worse. Weiss is in the cellar. She runs up the stairs like a bat out of hell, and to her surprise, the exit is locked. Look at that face. Poor Weiss. If only there was a way for her to bust through the door.
They're locked! They're locked! They're locked! They're locked! They're locked! They're locked!
I dare you to try and find one thing wrong with any of the moves we're doing.
Yeah. Weiss forgot she was a huntress, the same way the writers forgot about time dilation. Now, I'm sure some of you are in the comments section typing that the apathy grim was affecting her.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Guys, the apathy drains your will. It turns you into this.
It's fine.
What it doesn't do is turn you into a damsel in distress that needs to be saved. Thank God Yang was down there. Weiss would have been screwed.
What are you doing here?
We're leaving, you idiots! Come on!
Not yet.
No, you can't do that. It doesn't track. You just spent the entire arc establishing that Weiss is terrified. You can't then turn around and make her the fearless badass who gives the last call to leave. Weiss should have been the first one out the door. Oh my gosh.
Now we can leave.
If I sound frustrated, it's because I am. I'm not a fan of these choices. Hey, I have to be honest. But let's now give credit where credit is due. In my original Weiss video, I criticized the writers for not resolving Weiss's racism. Well, in Volume 7, she finally owns up to her past thinking.
I wish I could take back the years of pain my family has caused the Faunus, and all of my complacency in it.
Well, enough that I'm satisfied with it. And to show how far the character has come, the writers have Weiss step up to defend Blake against the racist.
Stupid Faunus like you.
It was worth it.
It's almost as if she's throwing her past self in the garbage.
He clearly broke the law. The filthy faunus from the boat! Would you like me to stop referring to the trash can as a trash can?
Since we're on the topic of Volume 7, let's talk expectations. Prior to its premiere, I was certain that Volume 7 would be Weiss's volume. Now, why did I feel that way? Well, Weiss is heading home, where she's a bona fide celebrity. We'll get to see Weiss in her element, and her family is there, so we'll have plenty of character moments. That's what I thought. So, How often was Weiss recognized in the city of Atlas? Never. What did Weiss have to say about the floating city while walking the streets? Nothing. We never actually see Weiss in the heart of Atlas. We see her at the Schnee Manor, and we see her at the Academy. That's it. Below Atlas, where our heroes spend most of their time, she's recognized a grand total of 2 times.
Don't you think tyranny's a little dramatic?
Easy to say for a Schnee heiress.
Wait, you're Weiss Schnee.
Of course her celebrity wasn't going to be relevant. Of course.
Of course.
Now what about family matters? We must talk about these interactions, starting with Willow. Yes, in Volume 7 we meet Mama Schnee, the woman that Weiss pities.
Your mother was devastated when you left. You know how she gets when she's upset.
Now we get to dive into Weiss's relationship with her mom.
I'm sorry I couldn't come down for your party. I'm afraid I'm not feeling well.
Wow, look at this shot. Here we have mother and daughter, and they're both eerily comfortable talking to each other from this range. Without any dialogue, you can see the status of this relationship.
It's okay, Mom. It's fine.
That sounds like an excuse Weiss has heard before.
What are you doing in your father's office?
I think you may have done something wrong.
I thought we all simply assumed that at this point.
Yes, well, some of us are trying to do something about it.
Weiss loves her mother, but she doesn't respect her clearly. That line was an open-hand slap delivered right to the face. She's not trying to drag her mom, she just can't help the way she feels. Her mother has been missing from her life for years while sleeping right down the hallway. Willow is aware of the shade coming from her daughter. How does she respond? The only way she knows how to at this point, she drinks. Drinking has become a way to escape reality. Weiss looks away. This is a well-written and well-directed scene. Who wrote this? Miles? Good for you, man. Now what happens near the end here has been a major point of contention. Weiss went to her father's office to determine whether he was hiding something, and Mom just gives her the smoking gun. Weiss doesn't have to do anything. I would have more of a problem with this if the scene wasn't so good, and I'd have less of a problem with this if it made sense for Willow. It doesn't, but this isn't her video, so she's off the hook for now. Let's transition over from Mom to Dad. One thing the writers have made clear is that Weiss really enjoys dunking on her father.
Weiss, that's enough.
Let go of me.
You're embarrassing the family.
I said let go. I have done nothing but fight to uphold the honor of my family name. A name that you married into. The Schnee family legacy isn't yours to leave. It's mine. And I'll do it as a huntress.
Believe me, I know exactly the kind of man you are.
So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised when she busted in like a wrecking ball to expose him.
Wait! You've got the wrong man on trial. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Now some people didn't like how easily and quickly Jacques was taken down. I did not mind it at the time because honestly, Jacques is a character I don't really care for. That being said, Weiss is taking down her father right now. She's exposing her father.
And every day, my father would come home furious. And that made for a very difficult childhood.
That reality should have been more present here. This should have been an emotionally driven scene with weight. Instead, it was matter of fact and silly.
Take your seat.
Jacques Schnee, you're under arrest.
Weiss.
Can I do that?
Am I supposed to believe that book-smart Weiss doesn't know whether she can arrest him or not? The scene is weak. This should have been an epic moment between father and daughter, and it wasn't.
Winter!
Winter Schnee. Winter.
Winter Schnee?
Winter.
In Volume 7, the thing I was looking forward to the most was the relationship between Winter and Weiss. I wanted to see the sister dynamic that's been missing from RWBY and Yang's relationship. We're gonna be looking at this from Weiss's perspective, obviously, and I thought things started off fine. In Chapter 1, Crow wasn't sure whether they could trust Winter, and Weiss was visibly upset.
There's obviously something very wrong.
Any other reaction would have been weird. Of course she trusts her sister. In the following chapter, Weiss and Winter are reunited.
You stole an Atlas airship?
I'm sorry I worried you.
Weiss apologizes for putting herself at risk, and Winter understands.
I suppose I understand.
I love this, and I thought we were in store for some great sister moments this volume. But what the writers ended up doing was a special kind of nefarious. Here Weiss and Winter are training, and the writer decided to tell us how much Weiss has grown.
You've grown up a bit, haven't you? You're not the little girl clinging to the family name anymore.
And the characters tell each other things they already know.
Father's view of the world no longer matches with mine.
For whose benefit, I wonder?
Our kingdom isn't supposed to be like this. Fearful and withdrawn.
I know the general hasn't done everything perfectly, but he's doing what he thinks is right.
Everybody thinks what they're doing is right. But usually they're just looking out for themselves and their secrets. We need to play along for a while before we make any major decisions.
I hope Weiss is projecting here, because if she's not, she needs to check her self-righteousness at the door. I'm not getting the sense that she feels guilty about keeping secrets from her sister, and it's bothering me. Next, Winter takes Weiss to go spy on an old hag, and that's when she finds out her sister was chosen to be the next Winter Maiden.
Ironwood's chosen you. Doesn't it bother you? He practically groomed your whole military career.
Why would that bother her, Weiss? She's the logical choice.
It did at first, when the general first proposed it to me.
But your destiny was chosen for you, without your input.
The dialogue is abysmal. Weiss is not listening to her sister. Without her input, she said he proposed it to her, which means it's an offer. She's not being forced to do anything. If I didn't know any better, I'd say the writer was trolling. So Winter confided in Weiss. She told her info she wasn't supposed to because she trusts her. Don't you have something you want to tell your sister, Weiss? Look at that face. Not a speck of guilt.
This behavior of yours is incredibly disappointing.
At the very least, I thought she would feel bad about lying to her loving sister. What did she have to say for herself?
I guess we've both had to do a little bit of that. Carving out our own way.
What? What? Do they have no shame?
We all have to carve out our own way.
They wrote that as if it's some new development, as if she gained insight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Schnee sisters have been carving out their own way from the very beginning. Weiss knows they're on different paths. Winter joined the military to carve out her own way. Weiss went to Beacon instead of Atlas to carve out her own way. She moved her ponytail off center to show that she's carving out her own way. She tells her father in Volume 4 that she's carving out her own way. She runs away because she plans to carve out her own way. Her development with her sister in Volume 3 was all about carving out her own way.
It sounds to me like you have two choices in front of you. You could continue to explore Remnant, discovering more about the world and, honestly, more about yourself.
We all have to carve out our own way.
How many times are you going to lay the same brick? Move on. Try something new. Christ, I can't believe this is how they treated their relationship. You know, everyone still sees Weiss as the pampered heiress.
Easy to say for a Schnee heiress living comfortably up in Atlas.
Not anymore.
I thought this volume, Weiss was going to make it known to the kingdom that she's not that person anymore, you know? That she's not supporting her father or the family business. Maybe she would publicly support Robin Hill for the council seat. Something to show the kingdom that she's not what they perceive her to be. I figured that would be the next step, but no. Guys, Weiss didn't say a single word to Robin the entire volume. Think about that. Not one word. Robin is running against her father, and they didn't think it was compelling to have the two chat. It's really remarkable. I must say this is rather disappointing. What's next for Weiss really? Making peace with her brother?
No matter what happens, Weiss, please don't forget about your brother.
I doubt that happens next volume. Weiss has no reason to go back home. Besides, there's a giant whale in the sky. I know, they're still in Atlas, and Volume 8 could have some cool Weiss stuff, but based on what I just saw, I have no confidence. She was only relevant 2 chapters. This was supposed to be her world, her kingdom. Maria's the one who gives the history lesson on Mantle. She doesn't have any moments with Robin, and she wasn't at the Mantle Massacre. She was at the movies.
Hey, Oscar and I are hitting the movies if anyone wants to... Oh, okay.
I wonder what she'll do off-screen next volume. Maybe she'll head to the museum, or the aquarium, or perhaps she'll try her luck dodging the coronavirus at RTX. The possibilities are endless.
We can't fix the wall without the supplies on these trucks. I think Mantle deserves to know what they're being used for.
Weiss could have temporarily fixed the hole in the wall at any point, but she was too busy watching Genlock. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. All 4 characters done. That's a wrap. Oh boy.